Hi guys, and welcome to week 2, session 1. Within this week we are going to be developing what we did last week by increasing arm movements, leg movements or head movements. Like always, we're going to start off with a warm-up. The first position we will do is cat-cow pose, but we're going to add some shoulder slides in as well. Like always, to perform this position, get ourselves into tabletop. When you are ready, push your belly down, lifting your gaze up to the sky. When you are ready, begin to tuck your chin in towards your chest, pushing your spine up to the sky to get into cat position. As we move back into cow position, bring our gaze to the sky, pushing our belly towards the floor. When you are ready, begin to tuck your chin in towards your chest, pushing your spine up to the sky to get into cat position. As we move back into cow position, bring our gaze to the sky, pushing our belly towards the floor. As we move back into cat position, tuck our chin towards our chest, rotating our pelvis under and pushing our spine up to the sky. Now we're going to include some tail wags, so drop our belly towards the floor and think about bringing your hip towards your shoulders. Now let's move back into cat pose before we complete our tail wags. To complete the arm slides, we want to get ourselves into a neutral spine position. Let's take our right arm and slide it through underneath our left, so we're wanting to try and get our right shoulder onto the floor. We're going to hold this for a few seconds before returning to our neutral position. When you are ready, now take your left hand and slide through under your right arm to try and get our left shoulder onto the floor. Well done, that is our first warm-up exercise complete. We are now going to move on to child's pose into up dog. To begin this position, we're going to get into our tabletop and step our hands forward so they're in line with our forehead. When ready, push our bum back towards our heels. As we move into up dog, bring our hips towards the floor and straighten our arms so that we're able to look up at the sky. When you are ready, push your bum back towards your heels, making sure that your forehead is as close to the floor as you can get. You should be able to feel this stretch from your fingers to your bum. When you are ready, return into up dog by pushing our hips towards the bed, straightening our arms and looking up towards the ceiling. For the final time, push our bum back towards our heels, feeling the stretch from our fingers to our bum. When you are ready, push your hips towards the bed, straightening your arms and looking up towards the ceiling. Well done, that's this position over. The final position for our warm-up is downward dog with leg lifts. For this position, we're wanting to get into our tabletop position, where we will then step our feet out into a plank. When ready, push our bum up to the ceiling so that we are in a triangle shape. When doing this position, we want to make sure that our ears are between our arms so that we are straight lines. When you are ready, bend your knees to ease the stretch off through the hamstrings. Now return back to our downward dog. Once again, bend the knees to ease off the hamstrings before we begin to do our leg lifts. When you are ready, readjust your weight onto your left foot so that you are able to lift your right foot high up into the sky behind you. When doing this, we want to make sure that our hands to our bum stays in a straight line. When you are ready, return your foot to the floor. Use this time to readjust before we lift our left leg up into the sky. Well done, that is the position over, so you can relax back to your knees. Now we will start on the main session. The first pose we will do is mountain pose. Like always, we want to make sure that we are totally grounded to the floor, feeling the pressure equally between our toes and our heels. Roll our shoulders back so that they are sat in a neutral position before placing our arms out to the sides of us. Whilst doing this position, we're going to add some head movements to see if our body can cope with adjusting circumstances. First of all, we'll look over our left shoulder. Return your head back to neutral and look over your right shoulder. Return your head back to neutral before taking our chin towards our chest. Return our head back to neutral before taking our gaze up to the sky. When you are ready, take our gaze back to neutral. We're now going to stand in this position for another 10 seconds. Well done, that's this position over. We will now move on to tree pose. When you are ready, take your weight over to your left foot and place your right foot near your knee. We have increased the height of our foot this time to reduce our balance. We're wanting to place our hands in the prayer position. When completing this position, if we end up falling over or putting your foot on the floor, just return back to the position when you are ready. Well done, that is our left side complete. Rebalance yourself before shifting your weight over to your right leg. Place the foot near the knee, take our arms above our head, and then bring our hands towards the prayer position over our heart. Well done, that is our right foot complete. Rebalance yourself towards the ground. The next position we will be doing is chair pose. We will then flow this through up onto our toes. For this position, we want to stand in our neutral standing position and take our arms above our head before bending at the knees and hinging at the hips slightly. Make sure that our knees are going over our toes and that our core is engaged. When ready, flow into standing and up through our ankles onto our toes. We want to be reaching towards the sky and making sure that we are in a straight line. When you are ready, roll through our feet, bend our knees and hinge at the hips back into the chair pose. By this point, we may be feeling it in our shoulders and our hamstrings. Just keep pushing through and remember to keep breathing. Once again, we're going to straighten up to standing and roll through our feet so that we are now standing on our toes again. When you are ready, roll back through our toes so that we are standing neutrally. Use this time to relax our shoulders. When you are ready, take our arms back above our head, bend our knees, hinge at the hips back into our chair pose. As we flow back through into standing up on our toes, make sure that your core is engaged so that you don't wobble like I have just done. When you are ready, roll back through your feet back into chair pose. For the final time, straighten ourselves back up into the standing position and roll through our toes. If you lose your balance, just regain it back into chair pose and roll back through your toes once again. Well done, that is this exercise over. We will now go back onto Warrior 2. When you're ready, take a big step back into a lunge position. Adjust the back foot so that it's at 90 degrees. Place our arms out to the side and make sure that you are looking over your front fingers. We want to make sure that our front knee is going over our toe and that our back knee isn't adjusting to the side. To move out of this position, straighten both your legs and step forward back to your front foot. We're now going to do the other side. Take a big lunge back and adjust the back foot to 90 degrees again. Straighten our arms out and make sure that we are looking over our front fingers. When you're ready, straighten your legs and step back to our front foot. We will now repeat this all again. Make sure that our back foot is adjusted to 90 degrees and that we are leaning over towards our front foot. When ready, straighten your legs and step out of it. We'll move to the other side for the fourth and final time. Take the big lunge back and adjust our back foot to the 90 degrees. Make sure that our front knee is going over our toes. Well done, that is this position complete. The next position we will be doing is a wide-legged forward fold. For this position, we want to make our feet wider. The wider our feet are, the easier this stretch will be. We want to take our hands towards the floor, making sure that our back is straight as we hinge from our hips. When completing this exercise, you may feel like you can push yourself further. You can do this by adjusting where your hand grip is placed. When you are ready, return to standing. We will now start on the cool down. The first pose we will do of the cool down is the reclining butterfly pose. For this position, we want to start by having our legs placed out in front of us. Move our bum to whereabouts our knees were. Lie down on our back. Bring your feet in slightly closer and let our knees drop out to the sides. If you aren't feeling a stretch, place your hands on your thighs and push them out slightly. When you are ready, bring your knees back up together, and that is the position finished. The final position of our warm-up we will do is the seated forward fold. For this position, we want to stay sat with our legs straight out in front of us. When ready, hinge at the hips, trying to make sure that our back is as straight as possible. You can place your hands wherever you want on your legs towards your feet. If you feel like you can stretch your hamstrings further, use your hands to pull your body towards your legs. Well done, you can now relax. Well done, that is the session complete. Thank you so much for doing this for me.